they like my Colorado swag. Cause when I'm in that flag, I don't really know just how to act. And when I'm in that goal, you know I'm acting bad. Holla, get a bus with my Colorado swag. My Colorado swag, my Colorado swag. I think they like my Colorado swag. My Colorado swag, my Colorado swag. Man, I swear, I think they like my Colorado swag. My Colorado swag is pushing 180. Speeding past competition, see you later, baby. Colorado Army with soldiers like the Navy. And voters where we stationed, patiently awaiting. When I hit the field, it's so hard to behave. I'm Colorado swagging as the crowd do the wave. Look into my eyes, I can tell that you afraid. Cause you know we finna hit ya. Hey, you on your own now. Why you
Welcome in to DNVR Buffs Postgame, presented by the Colorado XOs. I'm Henry Chisholm. I'm here with Ben Gerding and Ryan Koenigsberg. And I don't know. I think the first thing that we have to say tonight, quack. Quack. So many animal sounds tonight, right? Is that not the story of the day?
That is the story.
I think the first thing we have to say is good morning, as someone in the comments brings up.
Dear God.
I know.
Shout
This
out
isn't even
Francois.
this isn't Pac-12 after dark. This feels like Pac-12 before dawn.
Pac-12 before dawn.
We
for
have
sure.
we have
it.
crossed the
Before dawn.
line.
Yes.
I like
We've
that.
only done that once before, I believe, and it was when CU opened the season at Hawaii at 11 p.m.
Whew. I can't even imagine that.
Like, that was just a scheduled 11 p.m. start. We had, like, 7 different things tumble the wrong way today for us to get this late of a start. But, you know, honestly, my biggest takeaway?
Huh.
Welcome to March. Style points don't count here.
I know.
Like,
That's over.
I've already got people in my mentions being like, oh, like maybe next time, like survive a little smarter. And I'm like, no, you can survive as dumb as you want as long as you survive.
It's not like a spectrum.
Yes.
It's either you did or you did not. You are
Exactly.
either alive or not alive. And if you're alive, that means you survived. And that's what it's all about. That's what the Buffs did. Sure, it got a little ugly there for a second. I thought for... How long did maybe for 0.2 of a second, I thought that game was going to overtime. Like halfway in the air through the time that it popped back out. I was like, oh no, it's happening.
I only had enough time to have a thought before I could have like a fear that it was going to go in. As the ball was traveling in the air, I was like, oh, this is destined to happen. You know, because like single overtime, double overtime. Bill Walton said it. He's like, well, now we're destined for triple overtime.
He's openly pulling for another overtime.
like,
I
as
know.
that
I was
ball-
like, don't you dare. Don't you put that energy in the
I
air.
also have this theory that everything goes in March.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. And it's March.
And I was just like, the ball is flying through there, and I'm like, oh God, this is meant to happen, and everything goes in March. Clank. Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
Nighthawk made a good point. It's been March for a year.
That is true.
It's
It's
been
always
March for a year. Wow. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, that Buffs game, a lot of good things, including the fact that they won. Some
agree,
ugly stuff,
Andrew.
too. There's like a bunch of other basketball games that happened today. Colorado's playing USC tomorrow. Isn't that crazy that this is just like 24 hours, less than 24 hours. We're going to be right back up here watching another basketball game. It's just crazy.
If I'm Tad Boyle, I'm slipping everybody like 4 melatonins. It's like, okay, just knock out for 12 hours.
What's
And
a
when you-
melatonin?
Melatonin? Did I say melatonin?
I forgot that like we're in front of the camera, so I'm not going to let that slip.
Yeah, you can't let him
No,
get
not
away
right
with
now.
stuff.
No.
Well, a
You gotta lock in.
melatonin is just it's a bigger melatonin. Yeah.
It's a whole ass melon of melatonin.
I was thinking flavored.
I mean, it's almost like, with a dog, how they put like, meds in peanut butter and cheese.
Yes.
To trick your players into taking melatonin, you give them melatonin.
It's just a little fruit bowl of melon.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Oh boy. Before we get into actual basketball stuff, I do want to say Colorado XOs are 1-1, which is very good considering that most of them were not rugby players just a few months ago. They are training right here at Infinity Park in Glendale and competing with teams from all over the place with the goal of getting these guys onto the U.S. national team, which also trains at Infinity Park in Glendale. Interesting stuff. You can check it out at DNVR Rugby on Twitter, the DNVR Rugby podcast, and then at thednvr.com. There's a whole bunch of written content too, so make sure you check that out and follow along. All right, let's jump into the biggest takeaways from this game.
We kind of already did a little bit of biggest takeaways.
We did the quacks.
My
We did the
biggest takeaway was welcome
melatonin.
to March.
Okay, there you go.
Can I chime in with a stat from you know who?
Is it Brian Howell?
It's definitely.
I
Brian.
love Brian Howell stats. We need a graphic for that. I always think like, what
All right,
graphics?
I'll get on it.
Brian Howell stat gets a graphic.
Yeah, Howell's hot stats.
I feel like if we do this, we have to tell him. I don't
Or
think we
just let him
behind his
learn
back.
naturally.
Yeah, just wait till he tunes in one
Well,
of these
he'll
nights and finds
figure out eventually because his mentions will just be full of from DNVR people will be like Howell's Hoots or something. You know, anytime he tweets something out.
Howell suits.
I was thinking like Brian's stats. It's kind of like Brian's song, but Brian's song is a sad movie.
See, I can't speak to that.
Anyways, here is your Howell's hoot of the night. With tonight's win, Colorado has secured a 700 winning percentage for this season. The CU Buffs finished at least 700 just 4 times in the previous 77 seasons. Guys, 1954, 1961, 1962, 1968. This is the best season for winning percentage since 1968 and 69. Nice.
Nice.
I don't know why, but it hit me harder that time. No, I mean,
It's because it's 12:48 a.m. That's
It is
why.
so late.
I mean, that's just a testament
69's hit different at 12:48.
in the middle of maybe the strangest pandemic of my lifetime
Absolutely
that I've
the
ever lived.
strangest.
I think all of our lifetime.
That's like saying
That's
like your
the
only
joke,
child
Allie.
is your favorite child.
Ben Palm does say this is worse than bird flu.
Yeah, Ben Palm says this is the dumbest pandemic of the 2000s.
Wow.
Let's not get into that.
I wonder. I don't even know what that
don't wanna
means,
hear
and I will
where that
ask you
was.
after.
No, I just mean it's dumb. But no, I mean,
Well, it
pandemic
sucks.
sucks. Yeah, no. This is so impressive what Tabor has been able to do this year. And just circling back to your first biggest takeaway, you know, this is March. It doesn't matter how you win.
Nope.
I mean, dear God, look around the country just
Howell's
today.
hot hits.
That's
I
a
like
Ooh, that's
I like
very
that.
good.
Look around the country just today. You know, Virginia with a buzzer beater over Syracuse. Syracuse, a bubble team. That's a loss that really might hurt them. Syracuse flirting with the last 4 in, first 4 out. If you're Syracuse, do you think they would have cared if they beat Virginia the same way Colorado did today against Cal?
UCLA would care if they beat
UCLA,
Oregon State
exactly.
the way that
Or
the Buffs won.
Villanova dropping game to Georgetown today. I mean, this is the point in the season where it doesn't matter. You don't care about your ranking, really. It's just about how can you win and keep going. And Colorado's in the semifinals, has a great matchup against USC, which we'll dive into. But
Listen,
they're really looking good.
this was the Buffs' biggest hurdle in this tournament. Beat a bad team.
Seriously.
You think I'm joking. I'm dead ass serious. This was their biggest hurdle. You got to beat a bad team. And they did it. And honestly, it's another game where, at least for the first, 38 minutes, Tad Boyle looks and says, like, this is what I've been trying to tell you guys. You don't have to play well on offense when you play great on defense. Now, he's probably going to have a lot of other thoughts now that they almost blew that game at the end. That will probably precede that thought. But eventually he will get to this one, which is when you play defense like that, you don't have to do much else. The rest of it just kind of comes to you. Like, eventually McKinley Wright's shots start to fall. Eventually Jabari Walker starts to get and ones. Evan Batty tried to kill a man tonight. Like, that stuff is going to come naturally as long as you keep playing great defense. And the Buffs were worse on offense than Cal was for the first, 7 minutes of this game that went by without a stoppage.
And then you said it. I think it was 7-3 at that point. 7-2. Yeah, that's what it was. When you said if they get a bucket here, then it's like none of this even happened.
Exactly. And they got the bucket. It was 7-4. It's like a fresh game. And the stoppage comes and you just reset. And because you played elite defense that entire time, you got away with an atrocious offensive start. And it goes back to the main point, which is this is March. It just doesn't matter. So the fact that, they got off to this slow offensive start, and that's 2 games in a row now, still doesn't matter. You work your way out of that. You work your way out of that. And now, again, they cleared their biggest hurdle. I was more afraid of Cal than I am afraid of USC. And that doesn't mean they're going to win, but it's like you've kind of put yourself into a position now where you made the semifinals. That's nothing to scoff at. You're playing USC, win or lose, you can be happy with the result here. It's like you're in a nice place right now, and you can kind of play free tomorrow. And
Absolutely.
you couldn't do that today.
Yeah, I mean, they did what they needed to do. You know, there was no way that Colorado was going to win a Pac-12 championship tonight. Like, that was not on the table. They could not have scored 15 more points and then get to skip the game against USC or something. It does not matter at all. They had the opportunity to become a top 4 team in the Pac-12, and they played well enough to be a top 4 team in the Pac-12. And so now they're going to the semifinals. They'll probably need to play better against USC. Let's see if they do it. They did what they needed to do to beat Cal, and that has to be the biggest takeaway because it is March, and it is just about wins and losses.
One thing that I hope Tad is telling these guys, and I think is really important for them to understand, though, is the opportunity that they have in front of them now. They listen, like, you're not going to win a championship after this week. I mean, the chances of that are so slim. Mm-hmm. But you have a chance to win a championship this week. In fact, not even, you can win a championship 48 hours from now. And Oregon State is going to be a dogfight.
It's going to be incredible.
I think. You never know.
Yep.
But I really think that's going to be a tough game. And hell, Oregon State might win that game. And so you beat USC, and the only thing standing between you and, honestly, I don't want to overstate this, but, eternal glory is
a beaver.
Oregon State. And that sounds overstated, but, there's a banner in the stadium. You'll be brought back every 10 years, 20 years. Oh, here's the Pac-12 championship team. That, you'll have a ring. That stuff stays with you forever. Mm-hmm. And they have a huge opportunity here. But, again, they can also play really free because they don't have a lot to lose. Losing to Cal, Ben, you said it earlier, that's a seed line dropping loss. Losing to USC is not. And losing in the semifinals of your conference tournament is not.
Yeah, I mean, it really would have been detrimental to their resume if they lost tonight. That would have been their 4th Quadrant 3 loss, and that is this team's bugaboo. I mean, y'all hit on it earlier. Just take care.
What's your bugaboo?
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
You just said
I don't know, but you just said it was their bugaboo.
Bugaboo.
It's like your Achilles heel.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's yours?
Blondes? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. No,
go ahead though.
You got me all out of my rhythm.
Okay, you were good. You were rolling.
The bugaboo.
3rd Quadrant 3 loss.
Bugaboos. They just have struggled so much against bad teams all season, and so now facing USC, you're right. You do feel more confident about it, but also the reason that Colorado right now is sitting in most projections right between the 5 and the 6 line. I mean, pretty much anybody but CBS has them as a 5 or 6. CBS has them as a 9 seed for some ungodly reason. Literally the only one. But
Ban CBS.
the reason why they're flirting
CBS.
with that line is because of those Quadrant 3 losses.
Yeah.
None of the teams above them have that poor of a record in those bottom 2 quadrants. So this one probably would have dropped them down to a 7 or even an 8. And the 8-9 matchup is Armageddon. That's the one you want to avoid at all costs because you're a shoo-in to lose in the second round unless of a miracle. So why are you smiling so much?
I don't know. I mean, Armageddon's a little
1 a.m.
extreme.
Can we smile?
Armageddon.
So, no, this was a
Eternal
great
glory over
win.
there.
You're right. The Buffs can play loose. They're playing with house money right now. So now go
Nice
out
Vegas
there.
reference.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And-
Bill Walton, incredible at those.
Real
Yes.
quick, too, on this tangent, getting Matt Bradley fouled out, that was big. Evan Mobley today got into some foul trouble, too. If they can keep drawing fouls like they've been selling, and Henry, you and I talked about it on the conference roundup last night.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the keys to this game was to be able to draw fouls and also keep Matt Bradley off the ball. They did both of those perfectly. But if they can do that again against USC, could look good for a championship run.
Okay, I was just about to say I can't not talk about this guy any longer. We were trying to wait for the graphic to be ready. Now it's ready. Henry, I'll let you tee it up.
Assuming this is the same graphic. Yeah, it is. The DraftKings king of the game is Eli Parquet. Held Matt Bradley to 10 points, 5 rebounds, no assists, forced him to foul out. I mean, a lot of those
I wish we could have
points
gotten
weren't even
also
on.
the field goals on there. What did Matt Bradley
3
shoot?
of
I have
11.
that right now.
Oh,
3 of 11.
Yep.
oh.
3 of 11, and I believe 4 turnovers.
Everyone needs to
3 turnovers.
go back in time, change your Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year ballot, and give it to the rightful winner, Eli Parquet. The man is Clamp City. He needs his own. I think we should say that Matt Bradley went to Parquet Island tonight.
Oh,
I think so.
God.
He was.
I think so.
He was stranded there, without a paddle.
And, not to get ahead of ourselves, Taj Edie is up next tomorrow. And you'd have to think that Eli's going to be all over him.
And they need him to because Taj Edie's starting to heat up. So they're going to need another heroic performance from Eli. But you're right. I mean, he put a new definition on lockdown tonight. And it's really just impressive because it was that kind of that debate all year of, his defense is so great, but you really wish you could turn it around on offense. Tonight, it didn't matter. It was 4-on-4 basketball for how much Eli Parquet was shutting down Matt Bradley. And Bradley started to heat up a little bit late in that game, but it just wasn't enough to matter.
And heat up a little bit is like he made 3 free throws on a Maddox Daniels foul. He hit a 1-3 in Eli's eye.
Yep.
Which was still great defense. I mean, you can't play him any better.
He hit another 3. Was that? How did he get to 10? I don't know.
No, he didn't. He was 1 of 6 from 3.
Okay, so he hit 1-3 in his eye, which was good defense. He had 3 free throws, and then he had 2 buckets somewhere else. He was only heating up because we were feeling the pressure of the end of the game, and we were like, oh God, here he goes. But the man had 0 points in the first half. Eli Parquet was incredible. We've talked about him all year long, and I would trust. I'm not getting trust him on any player in the country. Just put him on him, any guard, I should say. Put him on any guard in the country, and I feel safe with what's going to happen. Certain guys are going to get theirs. But tonight, you came into this game saying we cannot let Matt Bradley beat us again. And Eli Parquet said, cool, put that right on my shoulders. I got it. And credit to Tad Boyle and the rest of that coaching staff. They had a really good defensive game plan. I loved that they were trapping on the screen rather than switching. And it made his life a living hell from start to finish. And that's why you won this game, plain and simple, especially when you didn't have it, because he's the type of guy who, when you are in that cold streak early in the game, can hit 3 threes, bang, 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 and all of a sudden, instead of being down 7-2, you're down 17-2, and you're looking around like what just happened. But Eli and that defensive game plan kept this game in check and made it so like some guy named Manischewitz or something had to beat you. Yeah, there you go. Not the
Manischewitz,
not the wine. What is it? Manischewitz? That's a sparkling wine.
I would not know.
Yeah, Manischewitz or whatever it was. He had to beat you or one of those other guys, and they can't. Like, they're just not good enough. Mm-hmm. That's why they were 9-19 or whatever they were. Like, they're just simply not good enough to beat you. You took out the one guy who could, you win the game.
And the crazy part is that your other guard is McKinley Wright. And so all of a sudden it's McKinley Wright on their second best guard. And then you've seen what the front court can do in games like the games against USC. And it's really easy to get really excited about this defense. And I think that because the offense can get ugly at points, you forget just how good this defense is. And was tonight in particular. Because this isn't just like, oh, good defense, bad offense. Makes it right around the middle. This below average offense, because they did heat up at points, that kind of pulls that up, combined with one of the absolute best defenses in the country, makes this a really good team. And
15 Broncos.
Sure. Yes. Well, let's go that route because it kind of does make sense. You're going to be able to.
Was that a good analogy, guys?
Good. Oh my God, he made a good analogy.
Sure. Yeah, that was a good analogy. Yeah.
The only problem is McKinley Wright isn't like 50 on his last leg.
Yeah,
but
also football, basketball.
No, it's like Jeriah Horn is the Peyton Manning type, the wily old veteran,
But he's so good. So bad.
Yeah, Peyton did kind of suck. But yeah, I mean, the defense is just so good, and that is going to be their game in and game out. That's just that has to make you excited, and I don't know what else to say. Like,
if you're gonna beat this team, you're gonna have to do it by making tough contested jumpers.
Yeah,
when they are that locked in on the defensive end, like that's how you got to do it. And guess what? USC has the guys that can do that. And so tomorrow night they might get hot and they might do it, but they are going to make it extremely difficult for them, just as they have the last 2 times these teams met up. So this is exciting. I hope Tad has a little extra vigor tomorrow because he was robbed of Coach of the Year, in my opinion. I don't think Andy Enfield has any claim to that when Tad Boyle beat him twice or 6 times in a row, for that matter.
Take your pick.
But if they win tomorrow, then he might have he has a claim. if the Buffs win tomorrow, I'll be saying the exact same thing I said about Eli Parquet. Go back in time, rip up your stupid crap ballot, and write it again and give it to Tad Boyle. That's what I'll be saying tomorrow night.
Also, while we're here, go rip up your Pac-12 Sixth Man of the Year rules because that's Jariah Horn.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough that he wasn't able to get the award because he played 3 too many games or started 3 too many games, but he was good again tonight. I guess he missed that second shot, but that first shot he made when he came in that was
Big
like
time.
a deep 2. Those are the shots that just make you so confident in this offense.
They make you feel good.
Yes.
When you're on the floor, whether you're watching, you're just like, he's out there. All right, we're okay.
He got an open look, and of course he knocked it down.
Yep.
Sure, it's not the look that most offenses are trying to generate, but it works. And it has to be deflating to be the other team and see Jariah Horn come in off the bench. And when he gets an open jumper, he's going to knock it down. It doesn't matter if the rest of the offense has been cold or not.
You know what I love about this game is no one burned their great game card. Eli was amazing, but McKinley, that was far from a signature performance from him. Jariah Horn didn't go off. He wasn't hot from 3. Deshaun Schwartz played nice down the stretch. He wasn't great throughout. I guess you could say the one person who may have burned their great game card is Dallas Walton. He knocked down a 3. He was hot early, but the reason I say that is because it's just difficult to stay hot. Even if it's just overnight, you could lose it. There's no one that played so well tonight that I'm saying they can't follow that up tomorrow. And they're gonna everyone's gonna need to play a little bit better tomorrow. But you feel good that Jariah Horn's not gonna have 2 off nights from 3. You feel good that McKinley Wright's not gonna be missing his floaters tomorrow. You feel good that Maddox Daniels isn't gonna go 0 for. Did he go 0 for? I feel like he went 0 for.
He didn't make a shot.
You feel
0 for 2 could have been worse.
Yeah, exactly. But you're not looking at anyone's stat line and being like, okay, well they're gonna regress tomorrow.
Yeah, and the only other name I'd add with Dallas Walton is Evan Batty. It's 5 of 7 from the field, 15 points, 5 boards, and an assist, a steal, and a block.
He just did him.
Exactly. And in the same way that defense is replicable. Sure, it was a great game for Eli Parquet, but you're not relying on bounces as much. You're just getting out there, being in good position. He can do that night in and night out. Evan Batty's game, a lot of it is like that. Sure, there's the shooting part, and we've seen him go or be a little bit up and down, I guess. But outside of that, the way that he rebounds, it's just so nice to have on your team. He was fighting for boards down there. And the shot that the Buffs hit, the little layup at the end where he feeds the guy underneath, that was supposed to be the dagger. That should have been it for the game. And it's because Evan Batty was able to make a play for a teammate, which is not something that you ever get from a big man. Now, could he still improve the playmaking and have more of those? Absolutely. But a good game from Evan, and I think that he deserves some credit for that.
No, absolutely. I mean, we highlight how great this backcourt is, and it's probably one of the best in the conference, if not the best. I think Oregon has a good case. They've got, Will Richardson, Chris Duarte up there. But this front court is what's going to push them over the edge. If this is a team that wants to make, the conference championship and actually win the conference, or if this is a team that wants to get out of the first weekend, it's going to be through the front court. Dallas Walton having one of his most confident showings in some time, and it's disappointing because he got out from a pretty ticky-tack call where he got that third foul and really never got in there. But two people that I want to talk about just real quick, too. You touched on Jariah Horn.
Why don't we hit a break and then circle back to those guys?
That's a good call. We're going to hit a break. While we do that, you guys leave your questions in the chat. We'll get to all those a ways down the road. This show is far from over. But whatever questions could be in your brain right now, just throw them in there, and we'll have a lot of fun.
By the way, shout out at the chat's popping.
The chat is popping.
For 1 a.m. on Friday morning, the chat is
Vibes are
popping.
good.
But what are people supposed to be doing right now?
Sleeping.
After seeing... No, you can't sleep after that. That's unrealistic.
That's why we love these people. Because they're like us.
They get it. And they also get the seltzers from Breckenridge Brewery.
Damn right they do.
They understand just how good those seltzers are. I've still only had the peach, and I really like the peach. I've heard good things about a bunch of the other flavors. I just realized I've asked you both on this podcast what your favorite flavor is. But I forgot yours, Ryan. What is your favorite flavor?
I'm a honeydew man.
Honeydew. That's right. And because there was the whole thing about how honeydew has no flavor, but that's the point of the seltzers. It's very subtle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for remembering.
So there you go. That was a recap of a conversation we had in a previous post-game show.
Last time on DNVR Buffs Postgame.
Yes, the seltzers are good. The beers are so good. You should definitely be drinking these because you're supporting, first of all, a Colorado business, and you're also drinking really good alcohol. If you want to check out the seltzers, get on the Breckenridge Brewery website. Go to that beer locator. It'll tell you exactly where you can pick those up. All the gas stations, all the grocery stores, everywhere. It's a cool tool. Make sure you're using that. Also, Green Mountain Dental Group. We've had actually a bunch of DNVR listeners switch over to Green Mountain Dental Group because of how good their work is. They're a family-owned dentistry, conveniently located 15 minutes away from downtown Denver and Lakewood. And they have taken the wisdom teeth out of several of our employees.
Of all the ways to say that.
So weird.
Can we talk about real quick? This is just a quick interjection. It was right during like a TV timeout, and I pointed up and I was like, I really hope they put those shirts in the bookstore soon, like just the tournament tees. We are Buffaloes. And Henry goes, are those not just for the Buffaloes?
You kind of ruined the story.
He did.
It's okay.
Did I not do it well?
No, you just a couple of the important details are wrong.
Like the entire story was built around those details. That you
It
missed.
was. It was what made it worth telling. But it was a lot of fun. If you were there, you'd know. And if you would have been at Green Mountain Dental Group, you'd know just how well these dentists pulled the teeth out of our
my
friends and
God.
coworkers here at DNVR. Okay, Allie. Yeah, so check them out. If you do that, then you'll get a free Sonicare toothbrush. All you have to do is schedule a cleaning, x-ray, and exam at Green Mountain Dental Group. It's a great deal. Take advantage of that for sure. Back in
Wait,
with some...
real quick.
Oh, no? More?
Ben, can we talk about how Henry was doing the Bill Walton thing without even realizing he was doing the Bill Walton thing? It was actually like 10 times as obnoxious as Bill Walton doing it because that's like his thing. But like the game was just like getting to like the most intense moments, and Henry was just like talking. Just like
Things
actually
popped
he was
into my
talking
head.
about Bill Walton. He's like, I love how Bill Walton does this stuff. Like, it's so funny. Like, like how important really is it? And I'm like, Henry, please shut the
It was like a 5-point game, and Henry's like, if I beat the Broncos, I'm going to clinch a 3 seed in the Madden League. And I could feel Ryan going like, cool. And
It was
we're
after
just
they had
like-
just shown the bracket. We're thinking about brackets. We're thinking about
There's
seeds.
just a
Oh,
time
look,
and a place.
3 seed Buffs. I would also in the FC. Yeah, and again, like my good friend Bill Walton, unlike my not friend Dave Pash, who does not understand the genius that he works with. I mean, actually, this was one of the times that we had the issue, but it was after he was talking about the Falcon, and
Peregrine Falcon.
I was
Fastest
upset.
bird in the world.
Yes, I was upset that Dave Pash didn't say, well, what sound does a falcon make? And while I was saying I was upset, apparently he made the falcon sound, and so I missed it because I was talking. So just know that I'm upset with myself too. So.
Okay, good. I'm glad we have the air cleared on that. I
Yep.
was gonna call you out for it in the moment. I was like, it'd
I
be
know.
funnier to call you out on the show.
And I actually was surprised you didn't call me out in the moment. I was like, I just brought
Maybe
up
that's
the
what it was.
Madden game right now, and nobody
Henry
said
was
anything.
just seeing just how far he could poke you. He'd bring that up, and then unprovoked, Henry also started doing the quack noise just
did.
by himself.
Henry and Bill Walton would actually be incredible on a call together.
That'd be some good content.
It would be a lot of fun. And someday, my first ever elbow bump during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I'll say that again this show.
1 year ago today.
Yeah.
1 year ago yesterday, actually.
Is that true?
By the way, Tad Boyle, I believe now. I don't want to mess this up, but I'm just gonna throw out a number and think it's right. 10-1 in his first game at the Pac-12 tournament. So like this wasn't really the first round, but last year was the first time he had ever lost in the first round. So how many years has he been the coach? It's not 11. So I was high on.
Yeah. But it is also true that they've never
2012,
lost.
like,
Why he
9-1?
was 13-8 coming into this tournament.
In the Pac-12.
In the Pac-12
yeah, but
tournament.
then we're
You
gonna
sure,
have to
Ben
go
Pump?
through how many times.
100%.
Forget it.
Forget it.
Just forget it. All I know is Tad Boyle's only ever lost once in their first game when they arrive at the Pac-12 tournament.
Also, that was the
last year.
only time that they've lost to a team with a higher seed.
Does that even count though? Can we just is that is that in the?
I mean, honestly,
record books.
Quite frankly, it's interesting though because the world started to end like before that game tipped. Rudy Gobert, all that went down 2 hours before tip-off.
It was crazy.
I know because we were texting about it because I was in the middle of a Marvel Super Movie Club meeing as the world was falling.
Keep that on yourself.
You have a pretty special position in that club, don't you?
Yes, I'm the founder and president. And
I didn't know you founded it.
As I know, I pounded it.
You said
founded it. I thought you said pounded
Oh
it.
boy.
It's gonna be a weird one. I want to get back to my point about Jariah Horn before I was rudely interrupted.
Oh wow.
Yes, like years ago. It's not even relevant. But what I was gonna say is, and he ties into Jabari Walker in this way as well. Guys that can come in and even when the offense is in a rut, just give you enough of a little bit of a boost to break it up. Henry, you brought up Jariah Horn takes some very low percentage looks. And it's interesting because there's nobody else in the world that I would want taking. Maybe, I mean, not world because obviously Nikola Jokic, but on this team, obviously, or in this conference, Jariah Horn just has a knack for knocking down low percentage shots, whether it's a step back three that's contested or these pull up jumpers that are deep twos. I reference Alabama, and the reason why Alabama this year is so good is their offense is one of the most efficient in the country because they only score in three ways: layups, free throws, or threes. Because it's just statistically, the most efficient way to do things. And Jariah Horn really isn't that kind of player, but he's so consistent and good enough and savvy as that veteran. And then to point to Jabari Walker, whenever he comes on the floor, it's almost automatically he's getting fouled or he's getting an and one, just because having him come off the bench, teams I don't think know what to expect. Whether it's the athleticism or just the sheer talent, until you really go toe-to-toe with him, I think it surprises him.
And I think that's true of a lot of the bench. I think Jariah, I think Jabari, I think even Maddox are players who you do have to feel out just a little bit. And more than that, they're good bench scorers. And I think that's what I realized tonight more than anything is that when things don't go well for the starters, you do have guys on the bench who can just come in and it's like none of that ever happened. And that is just, again, so valuable, like so many other pieces of this team. Let's jump into a couple of these other games that happened today just real quick. Just because I'm curious what your thoughts are.
I'm still trying to find the correct numbers of that stat I threw out.
He's only lost once. How many years has he been the coach?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, 2011, right?
But then they weren't in the Pac-12 when he first showed up.
Right, so
1 year in
2012.
the Big 12.
So it would have been 2012-13, so he would have been 8 years in the Pac-12. So
I'm trusting the Ben Pum rankings.
Well, dear God, I was just a twinkle in my father's eye that year, right?
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
But, okay, what? So 2012, that would have been 4 wins, right?
No, I'm not talking about overall record. I'm talking
No,
about...
but I understand. But I'm thinking backwards because we know his overall record is 13-8.
No, you're doing this wrong. You said it's been 8 years.
8 years, and the first year he won 4. So that means.
Why are you doing this?
Someone in the comments
you're
help us out.
misunderstanding what I'm saying.
No, you are saying losses in the very first game.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to do is count back from the amount of wins.
Why would you do that? All we have to do is know the number of years, and then we just minus 1 from that. So if it's 8 years, he's 7-1. Now he's 8-1 in the first game that they arrived.
That could be like an easier way to do it.
Okay.
But you shut down the Ben Pom rankings.
Hold on.
This was his 10th season.
Oh gosh,
The 10th season in the Pac-12.
Right.
10th season in the Pac-12.
Wait.
Here's the I was
Damn,
emailed.
I was actually really close. 9-1.
Off
I
by
said
1.
10-1.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Daniel in the comments, they're checking their phones to look at a stat. So calm down, please.
What, is he mad we're checking our phones?
Yeah, he says stay off the GD phones. They're looking up stats and trying to.
I was
figure
actually just
things
like
out.
texting friends and
I just wanted to see-
scrolling Instagram.
I wanted to see how many impressions
Did
I
you
had
see
on my
anything
tweet.
good?
Yeah, I saw lots of great stuff.
Shit, maybe I
I'm
got to
gonna
get
keep
over
doing
there.
it too, yeah.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk for a second while I check that Instagram if there's good stuff
Yeah,
happening?
I have
I
the
actually will
compulsive need to take a selfie on Snapchat
You
right
should
now.
you send some
Is
Snapchats.
that-
You look at Instagram. I'll talk about the Buffs, and then we'll trade so none of us get taken away from our phone for too long because then we'll have withdrawals.
Okay.
We could pass the iPad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So real quick, I know you guys will answer most questions in the third segment, but we do have a lot of people asking about what you guys think the biggest matchup for tomorrow is, since you guys were talking about the other games today. Good tie-in right there.
That is a good question. And I think that you look at...
Are we talking biggest, most important matchup in the game with USC?
Yeah.
It's got to be Evan Mobley versus the Buffs front court.
Yep.
Whoever that may be. They have done such a good job of containing him in the first two games. It's like weird. Like, I watched him tonight, and I'm just like, the guy's unstoppable. And it just hasn't felt like that when the Buffs play them. So I think, one of the things we've talked about in the past, I think we actually talked about this on the last postgame about what the Buffs can do. One of the things that, with Mobley that makes him so difficult is he's pretty strong for how lanky he looks. Mm-hmm. He's definitely not stronger than Evan Batty. Like, definitely not stronger than Evan Batty. And he's probably not stronger than Dallas Walton either, who kind of has some grown man strength going for him. So that's one thing that they can do is really keep him out of there. They've done a really good job of forcing him to take jump shots in the first two meetings. And if they do that, they're going to be just fine. Again, it comes down to, they've got a lot of different role players who can make shots. If those guys are making tough shots, it's going to be a really tough game. But I think Mobley is obviously your number one priority. And as long as you don't let him to get easy stuff, then I think you're going to be fine with him.
That's kind of where I'm at too. The other thing is that he just got to the foul line so much tonight. And honestly, I don't even know that you can pull too much if you're Colorado from the Utah USC game today when it comes to Evan Mobley, just because they don't have anybody who can stop him. Like what do you wind up with? 7 of 14 from the field, 11 of 14 from the free throw line, 26 points, 9 rebounds, a couple of assists with 5 blocks.
Yeah, I mean, Utah's best person to cover Evan Mobley is probably Timmy Allen. And that's, that's just a clear mismatch. Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be like saying, let's put Uriah Horner, Eli Parquet up on.
More like probably Deshaun Schwartz.
Yeah. And so that's, I mean, Utah's got, Brandon Carlson, who's a big 7-footer. He got into foul trouble early, and also he is not the same front court presence like Dallas Walton, Evan Batty, but also with Jabari Walker. And I didn't mean to cut you off there. Were you going to say anything else about
No, I like what you're saying better.
Fair enough. The other thing I was going to bring up is just his rim protection is kind of my biggest concern because, his offensive output we've seen through 2 games, that's a big enough sample size to know, okay, he's probably going to get 16 to 20 points on you. And that's just what you kind of have to live with. Tonight, 5 fouls. This is a guy who's averaging 5 blocks against Utah. This is a guy who's averaging over 2 blocks a game on the season. That is where I think he really could get into some trouble is if he is not allowing you to finish at the rim, that's when you're not getting kind of that trade-off. You talk about Eli Parquet and Maddox Daniels, for example, and say, okay, well, how does the plus-minus break down on their coverage? And that's why Eli Parquet is so valuable because Maddox Daniels might be able to go drop 9 points quickly, but it's more likely that his other guy gets 12. With Evan Mobley, again, you can kind of bank on he's going to have 16 to 20 points. How can you combat that? The fact that he is the best rim protector in the country, it makes the mid-range really important. It makes McKinley Wright hitting these floaters all the more important. And that's why, not that tonight was concerning, but to see their offense out of a groove a little bit in that area is a little bit difficult because that's where they're just going to have to hit tomorrow if they want to overcome that.
One thing that I think from today's games, I know you wanted to touch on them a little bit. Mm-hmm. First of all, the whistle was just absurd. But I think this benefits the Buffs. And let me show you the roundabout way that I can spin this in their favor.
I love this.
I have a feeling someone in the Pac-12 is going to say, we cannot do that again. Because I think it was Oregon State had 3 players foul out tonight.
Yep.
Like, how stupid is that?
Pretty
stupid. You can't have 3 guys fouling out. I know the game went to overtime, but you just can't have 3 guys fouling out on the same team. I think that someone somewhere is going to say, hey, let's calm down a little bit on the whistles, boys. Let them play a little bit. And I think the Buffs need that because it's very easy for Evan Mobley to go and get Evan Batty and get Dallas Walton into foul trouble early, and then you're going to be scrambling to figure out how you're going to cover him all night. So while the flip side of that would be you'd like to see him get into foul trouble, he doesn't really do that. So if you get a lighter whistle tomorrow and you can be a little bit more physical with Evan Mobley, I think that's a positive. And I just really think, what was it, over 100 foul calls?
103 fouls in just the two games that went to overtime. Not including the Oregon-Arizona State game. That's according to somebody in the Discord. That's not a Ben Baum official ranking.
Okay.
I believe it because I watched those games.
I mean, it was atrocious.
And I really have to imagine someone somewhere is going to say, look, that sucked. Not to mention it pushed the final game. I know it went to overtime, but those games were already slow. There was like 7 reviews in each of those games. I think they're going to say, hey, let's calm down on the whistles a little bit tomorrow and try and let them have a more free-flowing game between 4 very good basketball teams. Like, they don't need you to be babysitting them in there.
I really hope that conversation happens. At the same time, you would think that if they're going to realize that now, like, why not at the end of the regular season be like, hey, guys, you're doing the thing again where, like, you're calling a bunch of fouls that we don't really need and everybody hates it. Like, this isn't a new thing that's happening, and that's what concerns me when it comes to it getting corrected tomorrow. But, I mean, it has to be a conversation, right? Because it's a conversation that everybody outside of the Pac-12 is having. They have to hear it. It is just a problem again. And that is not fun for anybody.
No. I mean, nobody on the East Coast that wasn't an alumni of these two schools watched this game. And
Of course not.
And that just does nothing for the conference in turn as well. You've got a team right now in Colorado who, if they win this tournament, they legitimately could be trending as high as a 3 seed. Most likely a 4 if they win it. But what you're saying is you have good teams playing in this conference, and if that happens again, tomorrow's tip is supposed to be the same time, right?
Yes.
If
How,
that gets
though? How are there 2 games and 1 tip's at 9:30?
I don't know. Well, the thing is, I mean, they're getting the 1 ESPN game per day, and they're going at 9:30, 9:30, 8:30.
How bad is that?
It's terrible. Like, is ESPN saying, like, you've got to do it?
I don't know, but the biggest problem I have is, like, so you had 4 games today.
Uh-huh.
The one that you got on national television, the ratings are going to be comically low. It's like you couldn't have got you would have been better off having the Oregon game on national television in the middle of the workday.
But what was on ESPN at the time? There's probably some other conference
Big Ten or
tournament,
something.
and
It was West Virginia, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
So
I get it, but there's also like ESPN2, and I just
yeah.
how is there a game in the semifinals of the tournament tipping at 9:30? Especially when there's no one in Vegas, because I get it when you're in Vegas, like you want 2 primetime games, so you have 6:30 and 8:30 or whatever, 5:30 and 8:30 in Vegas. There's no one there. So you couldn't have reworked the schedule this year to be better for television. It's shocking.
more or less shocking than 9 a.m. kickoffs.
More
Shocking?
9 a.m. kickoffs are I'm fine with 9 a.m. kickoffs.
Okay.
9 a.m.
I'm not
kickoffs
gonna
makes
love
sense
it.
for the alternative, because a 9 a.m. kickoff means you're playing in that 11 a.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m. window. But
Well, and it's great because, it's not like people wake up in the morning and they're like, oh, I need a break before I turn on college football on a Saturday.
True.
They're like, put it right into my veins as soon as possible.
I don't know. I pre-gaming and tailgating before a 9 a.m. kickoff at Folsom sounds...
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But we'll do it.
Yeah.
What about an all-nighter?
Oh, dear God. Well, we're
Ooh.
trending that way now, so...
I like it.
Well, also seniors, they like have to graduation starts at like 8, so they go to the sink at like 5, 6 a.m. So people are used to it. People are drinking, waking up that early.
I can firmly say with 100% confidence that I will not be one of those seniors.
Well, I don't
Let's do
think
an
that will be
all-nighter.
happening
If the Buffs get a
tonight
9
or
a.m.
this season.
kick at Folsom, we're
this
doing an
year.
all-nighter.
Yep.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
We
Just
can sleep after the
tailgating
game.
out there.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll like chill by Boulder Creek or something.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
We'll camp. Camp on Boulder Creek.
It's crazy how, like, just sleeping next to the creek is like, I'm not so sure about that. It seems like a terrible idea. Then you call it camping.
Camping.
It's like, oh, yeah, well, of course. Who wouldn't say that
Put
sounds
a
like a great
hammock
time?
up in like a tree that overlooks that near like Scott Carpenter Park. Could be a vibe. That's a good date spot. That's the key is you go to
Ben Palm date spot rankings. Go.
Yes. Top 3.
If you take a girl up Flagstaff, there is a reservoir Flagstaff.
Oh my God.
And
This is all news to me.
And it is a prime spot to go at night. You can walk down by the water. Boulder Creek, you go to Noodles and Company. You
It
get
is
some
1:26. I would love to go home and not hear about Ben's dating.
Oh,
I would
that's
love
what
to.
does the chat say?
I would
to hear
love.
about
What does the chat
I
say?
would
Well,
love to
Allie,
talk more Buffs and then go home and not hear about Den's.
I am
dating
honored that
spots.
she thinks I've been on a date. No, this is just
See,
me
no, that was the
planning.
question: is
Yeah.
how many girls have you taken to the reservoir?
No.
I've taken one.
Did she make it home?
She
Oh my
did.
God, Ryan.
Yes, she made it home. Actually, the
You
one
walked
girl,
down by the water. I didn't know what was gonna happen.
the one girl I took to the
Ryan.
res ended up being the one that I took to IKEA before my car accident.
Yeah.
So I got on the sim train
How
early.
IKEA date rating?
Not bad. It's a little awkward when you go with a girl that you used to like who rejected you, and then you ask her to bring her cute friend because then you try and slide in on her, and then she rejects you too. It's a
Yeah.
whole
Jess
thing.
says I'm with Allie, and then
About the bus stuff?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
About-
I was more interested in your date spots.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
Nighthawk said Allie is a champ tonight for staying up with you hooligans, and
That is
I
definitely
didn't.
That is always true.
Wasn't
The
gonna
only thing
bring it up
I was
until
suggesting
now.
is that just sounded like the beginning of a horror film. You drive up a mountain. There's a reservoir. You can
Wish
go down
we were
by the
in
beach.
Vegas too, Matt.
It gets-
Specifically said at night.
yeah, he said at night.
You don't do that.
Because at night, it under stars, it fosters better
you see the stars up
conversation.
Okay.
Yes. No
See,
light
the stars are
pollution.
great.
It's
Should
tough
we
to
do
see the
qu-
stars here.
Should we do questions?
Matt Cisneros
Yeah.
said, "Wish we were in Vegas right now." Oh
yeah.
my goodness, that would be amazing.
Soon.
Soon. DNVR Vegas meetup.
Ooh.
We got Elliot going to sleep.
Next
Thank
back
you
up
for watching.
Let's go
We
Buffs.
finally put him to sleep.
Yeah.
We did it, guys.
The dating put him to sleep.
No, Elliot, make sure you chime back in. Tell them that it wasn't the dating that put you to sleep.
No, that is where he.
Ben
That
did
is
it.
why he wants to go to sleep. Thank you for watching, Elliot, and hanging out, and everyone else who's watching and hanging out.
All right, we're going to take one more quick break. While we do that, you guys get your questions in. On the other side, real quickly, we're going to share our takes on the Oregon State game that's going down tomorrow, and then we're going to fly through those questions. Or maybe we're going to take our time. We'll see.
I have to be on another live stream in just around 8 hours.
That is just absurd.
You start the all-nighter now, honestly. It's like
I
a
could
9
do
a.m.
it.
kickoff.
I have been
You want to
at
practice? You
the
want to rehearse your
bar
podcast tomorrow morning?
since 11 a.m. and I have not left this
See,
bar.
I was gonna give you that shout out, but then you had to pat yourself on the back. I was
Yeah.
gonna do it for you.
because I don't want to hear about Ben's dating spots. I just
if
combined
it's any
Ben and
consolation,
dating.
no girls want to hear about my dating spots.
Elliot said, "Still here. I was waiting for the end of the story." LOL.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
People were hooked.
And Nighthawk said,
alright.
"This is why you are single."
Yeah.
He's single because he has a great date spot. Gross reservoir.
No,
Reservoir at night?
Stad says fun story. Oh, that's called Gross Reservoir. And then he also said those are bad for date spots.
Speak for yourself. I mean,
Anything with gross in the name.
dude, I simped that girl for like 7 months, and she
called-
didn't. It took her 7 months to finally cut me out. I mean, that's like a
Caleb,
record
don't
for me.
Gross
encourage
Reservoir
this
'cause of all the dead
behavior.
bodies.
Caleb, in my opinion, we just skip the questions and hear more of Ben's dating spots.
Bed bomb ranking
Caleb
of
with an
his murders.
excellent point. I don't know
No.
what the hell you two are talking about. I tune out my haters. All I hear are my fans, you know. And Caleb right now, he wants to hear about my dating spots. While you do
please
this
stop.
real quick, while you do this ad read, folks in the chat, please type in: are you pro or con blazer on a first date?
Is
Okay.
it would be pro or
No,
anti.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Yes.
You have to
Hold on.
explain
Oh,
the
God. Oh,
situation.
No, but I'll explain.
This is
Blazer-
Allie's question.
No, Blazer going to a girl's apartment to make dinner at her
in
house.
my defense, it was
Not
a
going-
townhome.
Not going to a
Yeah.
nice restaurant.
He's not-
it's
he's not
wearing
dating
a blazer
apartment girls,
to
Allie.
go to a
come on
girl's
now.
house and cook
look,
dinner.
And that
Officially-
date was not with a girl. Okay, that was with a woman.
Okay.
she has a home.
It does not matter.
Oh, God,
Wearing
I
a
can't believe
blazer
you
is
finally got Allie
weird.
roped in on this.
Everybody's invested now.
All right.
Benjamin says the Bachelor DNVR edition.
as we've been saying
we
for
will
years.
never finish the show if you keep interrupting Henry's ad breaks. Those are the one things that have to happen.
Did you fill out your bracket yet? Our sponsors, Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, want you to do so. Their precision-engineered tools for your family jewels will help you turn that Kentucky... You didn't even have to say it. I just glanced.
Corey Cooch all
It's
over
just like
again.
something about the way that you do the reads.
Yeah,
It's so unnatural.
it's unnatural.
Yeah.
Let me continue.
Natural it up.
Their precision-engineered tools for your family jewels will help you turn that Kentucky Wildcat into a South Carolina Gamecock.
Wow.
Manscaped
Oh my
is trusted by
God.
over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for my college basketball fans. Wow, my college basketball fans. 20% off
So no one.
plus free shipping with the code DNVR at manscaped.com. So many great products. We make jokes, but it really is really good stuff. And that's why Allie has decided to join us visually so that she can explain
God,
just how
she's on
great the
screen.
products are.
No, I'm just showing up here because it's 1:30 and I'm just gonna also be on camera.
Real quick on Manscaped, of all the dating spots, Manscaped can help you clean up the most important one.
Wow.
Look at the smile. He
thought he
just
had
wants
one
to be
there.
a
He
I
perv.
really did. I knew I was gonna get you guys. Damn, I thought that was
That
good.
was a good one.
The sad part is
Yeah.
I thought of that as soon as you said family jewel. Something clicked in my head where I was like, holy shit, I
Wow.
got one, guys. But
Wow.
did not work.
Unclick that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great stuff. Ben
DNVR
Palm,
20% off.
top 3 Manscaped products.
Oh, well, okay. So, I mean, that's honestly tough. That one might stump
Yeah.
Ben Palm because
Computers
you want
are
to
quick,
talk
though.
lawnmower.
I'm gone.
Come on, Watson.
Computers are
all right,
quick.
I'm going to go ball revitalizer,
That's not a thing.
crop revitalizer. I know.
It's called crop.
Preserver?
No,
no,
crop
there's
preserver, crop reviver.
Reviver.
I thought
Yep.
it was revitalizer.
No,
Nope.
crop reviver.
I promise you it's
Guys,
not.
it's late. Okay, well, it goes crop preserver, then lawnmower, then crop. I can't-
Reviver.
Yes.
Crop
That's, is
reviver.
that
coming
reverse
out of me.
order or standard
No,
order?
that's 1 to 3.
Well, there you have it. And
that
with the
was a
Perfect
lot.
Package 3.0, you can get all those plus some other stuff. And again, the code is DNVR for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Okay, the Oregon State game. I would like to say, in my official prediction, I had Oregon State beating UCLA.
Nice.
Ben?
You got me on that one. Nope.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got me too. The Pac-Fesser did not predict that.
There we go. That is what I was looking for. Now they're going to play tomorrow, and I am absolutely taking Oregon. Am I crazy?
Well, no, you're not crazy for taking the team that will be heavily favored, but I don't know what the spread is. Do we have spreads yet? I'll look to see if we have a spread. That guy who doesn't like when we use our phones, please cover your eyes. I think that
He's in the
Oregon
comments
State will-
asking, should the Buffs trade for Alex Smith? He is also saying,
Buffs
will
are
Katie Nixon be playing in the game tomorrow? What about
Okay,
LaVisca
yeah.
Chenault?
Oh,
Those are some good questions.
he's a little off. The
We'll
rails.
get to
Okay,
all those.
I've got it.
He's
The
been
line
doing-
is 9, and Oregon State will cover that.
9 and Oregon State will cover that.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rivalry game, third matchup for these teams. And Wayne Tinkle really has his team playing well right now.
You know who has that team playing even better? Jocelyn Tinkle.
Yes.
She, the entire game, I actually sat behind her last year for the one day of the Pac-12 tournament, and boy, was it a trip. Because it really is just constant, like, she has something to say about every possession, and I think it helps. I think, especially in this environment where there is no fans, to have the entire Tinkle family just there screaming their heads off.
The whole time I was watching this, and like maybe Wayne Tinkle, like he already had his son on the team, he's avoiding nepotism. But like the whole time I was watching, I was like, why is she not on the bench?
I know.
Give her a clipboard. Like
Exactly.
she should be on that staff.
Because she is, like, it's not just random stuff. Like, again, I sat behind her and she's just screaming, like, help, like, get out there, get out. Blah, 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 blah.
She's great.
And it's just like, whoa.
I think she's also probably she's like the all-time leading scorer in like women's Big Sky.
No, she went to
or
Stanford.
she went to so
But I
the
think she
Tinkle
has some
family
stuff there,
is-
yeah.
maybe it's
insane.
Montana records she has. So I
Yeah,
don't know. She's got some
I know
records.
Wayne was Montana's coach for a long
And
time.
two of his daughters, one played at Stanford, one played at Gonzaga. Obviously, Trace played at Oregon State. He's in the G League now, I think.
This isn't
Family's
quick.
juiced.
This is not the quick way to talk about the Oregon State game.
No, it's not.
I just
We got
realized.
on a good Tinkle rant, though.
Tough not to root for the Tinkles.
And if you want to tinkle better, Manscaped?
No, why?
No? All right.
I don't know what your problem would be. The Manscaped solved.
This is a forest.
No,
Yeah.
don't.
I mean-
don't dive into this, please. Let's
Well,
just
no
move
one would want to
on.
dive into it.
Let's
Oregon
move
State is sharp.
on, please.
With like Ethan Thompson's, 3 of 11 tonight. That surprises me because it
He
seemed
didn't
like he
score
was.
anything in the
He
first
did,
half.
he
It
did
all
well
came in the second half.
late
Yeah.
in the second half. It's kind of when he turned it on.
And who
That
is
is true.
who is their other? I can't remember his name.
Take a pick. Silva, the big guy.
No,
He fouled out
remember his name.
to.
They've got a nice little shooter. I think it's Lucas.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Jared. No,
5 of
that's
10
not who I was
from
thinking of.
3.
But yeah, Jared. I mean, they've got a great back court with Lucas and Ethan Thompson. God, I'm gassed.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good game. I think Oregon, they need to keep winning because if they don't win the conference outright, they are really flirting with still a 7-8 range just because their resume still just
It's thin.
Incomplete.
I mean, it's right there with UCLA, and that's why that UCLA loss was so detrimental.
Yeah. No, I've got a good feeling about the Tinkle team tomorrow.
The Tinkle team.
Yeah.
Well,
The Tinkle Beavers.
I think we all share that same positive feeling toward the Tinkles, and we're ready for some questions, Allie, if there's some questions.
There's a lot of questions.
Questions.
I love when there's a lot of questions.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Allie, you're surprisingly not excited to be up at 1:40 a.m.
If I hadn't been here for so long, I would be excited because the Buffs
Allie's
just
going on like 15 hours here. at
Hey,
the bar.
I've been
Because
folding
the-
shirts for the last 8 hours.
And packaging and shipping. Give
packaging.
yourself some credit.
How could you
You're
not
not
be-
just a shirt folder.
How could you not be excited? The Buffs are headed to the semifinals. I am just very, very
Wow.
tired.
That
Yeah.
was the least excited anyone's ever
I'm
been.
sorry.
I've never heard somebody less excited
I
about
am
semifinals.
just so tired. You could like see it in my face. But
And hear
let's
it.
I
get to
can't
the
see it.
questions. Aw, thanks. You're sweet.
That is very sweet.
Okay,
of you,
we've
Ryan.
got a lot of them. So
Aw,
let's
thanks,
start
you're
off.
sweet.
I am just tired, guys. I am just really, really
Just-
tired.
The questions with a tiny bit of inflection.
J-Rod said, Kin is saving himself. I'm convinced for bigger games. I'm convinced.
Kin is saving himself for bigger games.
No,
I'm
I'm
convinced.
going to say it the way I'm going to say it.
Okay.
So get
And
used
if
to
you're
it.
saving yourself, make sure
Please.
you're ready with Manscaped.
Yeah, he's. We've seen this from Kin before. Like, he does what is needed of him, and tonight he did what was needed of him, and tomorrow he needs to score more.
That's like a
Probably.
It's a trait of like really great basketball players. I don't know what it is, but like Nikola Jokic has the same thing of like he'd much rather have you guys do it.
A pass makes two people
Yeah,
happy, not just
right.
one.
And
Yep.
when no
My
one else is
favorite
doing
quote.
it, they're finally like, all right, I got this.
Andrew says, is Kin too hesitant to spot up and take a deep shot too often in the second half?
It depends on if he hits his first one.
Yes, exactly. When he isn't hitting them, he doesn't want to shoot them.
At points, he is too hesitant.
I think so too, but you don't want to settle because he's not a good 3-point shooter. So it's like I trust him because he's so clutch, and at the same time when he doesn't shoot it, I'm like, if he doesn't want to shoot it, I definitely don't want him shooting it because he's not all that great at shooting it when he wants to shoot it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think that's fair.
Daniel asked if Tad Boyle was texting you, Ryan.
No, Tad is not texting me.
You have Tad's
Why not?
number?
I do have Tad's number.
Andrew, okay, wow, big one.
Whoa.
Have fun, Allie.
Have you been to the Sequatchie River Valley where the mighty red oaks welcome you to the quack, quack, quack,
Oh my
quack
God.
USC?
I love this comment.
Last night, then they've been to OTs in the Super Bowl quack.
Andrew just won.
Wow,
That might be the best
Andrew.
comment we've had on any basketball post game.
Congratulations.
If you could go anywhere with Bill Walton, where would you choose to go?
I mean, I already know you're going to say the zoo.
Oh my
Which
God.
zoo, though?
I'm taking him to Gross
The
Reservoir.
National Zoo. Where's the National Zoo?
DC, I think.
Been to DC, haven't seen the National
My
Zoo.
sister said that it was a
there's
good
of
zoo.
course the National Zoo at
Of course,
DC.
the National Zoo is in DC.
Cincinnati Zoo is
It's,
pretty
uh,
highly ranked.
It's right
called-
over near the National Cathedral.
It's called the nation's capital. But
We've driven right by it. Anyways,
Good one.
it was a political joke.
It was.
Elliot
Politician.
comes in.
Without
now-
picking a side, though, I
Elliot
respect
says,
Exactly, no side.
Elliot says,
I'm the politician now.
Ooh, what a twist.
I'm
What are the
muting. I'm gonna
politicians?
mute you both. So
Okay.
listen. Does
having
Kin's
fun.
performance tonight concern you at all? For me, it's a no. But he looked incredibly out of it on both ends tonight. To me,
I did not see out of it. I just saw not shooting well,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Definitely not out of it on defense. He was
Yep.
locked in. He dove for 3 balls within maybe the first 5 minutes. I mean, he was flying.
I'm glad you brought that up because it is pretty crazy. Like, a lot of the time, the ball goes on the ground, and then, like, 2 guys kind of fight for it, and then a third guy jumps in for it. Kin gets down to the ground so fast and grabs that ball. That is a
'Cause he
trait,
starts very close to the ground.
and he's quick. Like, he is more than maybe any other basketball player in the Pac-12. He is equipped to get down on the ground quickly and grab a basketball.
Yeah.
And
that
that's
sucks. I mean, no, not him doing
Yeah.
it. I mean, like, diving on the floor for a loose ball, like, he doesn't, it's not like he wears, like, shooting sleeves and stuff. I mean, like, just the court burn and that just sticks with you. I mean, that's just annoying. And you're right. It's not below him. He's putting everything he has out there.
It is technically
All
below the
right.
floor.
barely.
Garrett now is asking, will Maddox Daniels hit an important 3 in the near future?
Yes, as soon as everybody
That's a good
curses
question.
every time he touches the ball, that's when he'll hit his next 3.
Yeah, we're getting close. 0 for 2 tonight from 3. I think, if he starts 0 for 2 in the next game, that's where you start to get like, oh, no, Maddox, please, pass.
I actually never leave that state.
Oh, no.
But I do think like he's gonna accidentally make one soon.
Accidentally. All right. Bean says X factors for tomorrow's game.
Oh, I love that you use the term X factor because I'll answer this the same every time, and I think it's true every time.
There's one max factor on this team, and
And it's Deshaun Schwartz.
Yep.
I mean, the dude is so equipped to be good, and when he does it, it takes this team to another level. And I said it tonight, and I don't mean this as an insult to him. It's actually more of a compliment. But I said the only thing between this team and the Sweet 16 is Deshaun Schwartz. And again, I mean that as a compliment to his abilities. If Deshaun Schwartz plays well, the Buffs will beat just about anyone because they have another wing who can score. And a lot of times you look out there at a lineup and it's like, okay, the only options to score here are Kin, Batty, and Schwartz. And Kin, depending on the way the defense is approaching him, is not always, you can't count on him every time down. Mm-hmm. And Batty has his off nights, and it's just like you look to Schwartz. The thing is, you need to get 2 of the 3 going. And most times it's Batty and Kin. And then, you'll mix in Horn and those other guys. But so many times it's just like, my God, if Deshaun Schwartz was making that corner 3, this team would go to the next level. And so, again, that's a compliment to him. He's the X factor tomorrow night, hopefully in the championship, in their first round NCAA tournament game. He is the guy. As soon as it clicks for him, and hopefully it happens soon, this team is a different level of good.
yeah, there was a 6-game stretch this season where Deshaun didn't score in double digits once. That is not something that I would have said would happen coming into the season. Like that, going into the season, you would have thought, averaging 12, 13 right around there. Potential for maybe even a little bit more.
That's a lot in college, but yeah,
It is.
I mean,
It is.
I would have said he should average right around 10 points.
Yeah, and you just haven't gotten enough out of him often enough this season. And like you said, though, you could turn it around and he could go win you games. I'm starting to get tired.
He
All
just
right.
needs to finish at the rim more consistently. The shots will come, but that's where his game needs to improve.
You guys can see the screen. Do you see where the little comment thing is?
We're halfway
How
there.
many? So let's
Oh,
go
wow.
faster on these. Caleb is asking, do you think Colorado still deserves to be ahead of Oregon in the ratings?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hands
Yeah.
down.
Benji said, do we see the same commentator pairing tomorrow night on ESPN, or was the tension tonight enough to change it? Bill Walton always has tension
No,
with
it'll be
his
the
It's
same.
Dave
commentator.
Pash.
What?
And
So Henry
They
was
always
blabbering
fight.
away during their tension. What happened?
I missed it too.
They, I don't know. I caught it when he was saying like, "Oh, maybe you should stop talking bad about all the graphics that our team made." And Bill was like, "Take it back. I never said that." And then it was just awkward. But I feel like he always fights with whoever he's.
I mean,
partnered
it's
up
mostly
with.
Dave Pash. They have very deep disagreements
couple.
about the way the world works.
Yeah.
Also, like the Republicans and the Democrats in a way.
Yeah.
You said you weren't going to talk politics on tonight's show.
You did
Yeah.
say that.
And the reason was because I know that I'm gonna say stupid things tonight, and I don't want to say stupid things about politics. I was
Smart.
very careful in what I stand.
And are
there,
you
I
really going to
stand
go
by it.
out on a limb and say that Republicans and Democrats disagree?
I think
All right.
that
All
might
right.
be
There's
something
no
there,
need
yeah.
for any of this. Next question. Where do we place in the real bracket? Should I put my stimulus check on the Buffs from Nighthawk?
Don't do that.
Yeah.
No, it's Nighthawks.
true.
Yes, do that. I think that'd be fun.
I think it'd be fun for all of us.
What does that mean? I don't understand what this is talking about.
In
The real bracket, meaning the NCAA tournament. As of right now, let's run through the scenarios. They lose to USC. They're a 5 seed,
Probably
Six.
probably 6 seed.
6 seed. They beat USC, losing the championship. They're a 5
5
seed.
seed.
Yes.
Win the championship, you're probably the top 5 seed.
No, they're a 4 seed if they win.
No. Well, honestly, though, it depends on how the rest of it falls because, for example, Villanova right now, ever since they lost their starting point guard, they haven't won a game. They just lost to Georgetown today. That's a bad loss. Villanova could reasonably fall down to the 4-5 line. If there are some other bad losses like that, the Buffs could sneak up. But I think at this point it's too high because most people have them as a 6. To jump up to a 4 with 2 games, I think might be a bit much. But I've been wrong before. I frequently am. So speaking though, real quick, shameless plug. We're gonna have a DNVR bracket of our own. So stay tuned to that as well as all the different coverage we're gonna be doing. We're gonna have a live selection show. Live selection Sunday show.
You're really struggling on that one.
God, I'm tired.
This isn't usually
They
Ben's
got
job.
the point. Next
Yeah.
question.
He's not the plugger.
Live Sunday selection show.
Thank you.
Good job, Allie.
I was like, can I do it?
Wow, Allie smiled.
I
Hey,
did.
we got her.
I've been smiling. I'm just tired.
All it took was for the Buffs to go to the semifinals and for Ben to say something dumb.
Someone said I saw they said they disagree with me. I need to see that.
I don't.
Scroll
see
How
down.
do you see that?
Oh, I have eagle eyes.
I mean, it was probably from a while ago.
You're going the wrong way.
Okay, well, we're not there yet.
We could be here forever.
We might be.
We don't know because every time we answer one, some more come in.
Yeah,
and
and
the bar gets smaller.
We could be scrolling through something the viewers can't see all night.
Jess says we had friends take tomorrow off because of the game tonight. You know.
That's dedication.
Wow.
I
That is
respect that, but
dedication.
also I think it's kind of soft. But I also
Well,
work
we also don't
at a
know.
sports network.
We also don't know where Jess
so I have
lives.
nothing to. I can't really hold that.
We don't know where Jess
Exactly.
lives because Will and Nina, shout out to Will Whalen, they are up
What?
and it was 2:30 in the morning East Coast time. So like they could be on the East Coast and that is late.
It's gonna be 2:30 by the time we're done with this.
Okay, but I meant for the actual game. Nighthawk says at least your game isn't at 10 a.m., which is Alabama.
Who cares about them?
I was just
Gross.
look. She keeps bringing it up. So
Okay, yeah,
Bam.
just ignore it.
I shouted out Alabama's efficient offense today. I don't understand why you feel the need to. I gave you a compliment.
Caleb said, in this case, it may be a blessing in disguise. RK Nuggets game will be over, and we can get that wrapped up before Buffs. It's true.
Yeah.
We will. So tomorrow, for everyone who is a Colorado sports fan, we've got Nuggets, Avs, and Buffs and Rams all tomorrow night. It's going to be a busy night. We will be doing a Nuggets postgame show here in the DNVR Lounge, an Avs postgame show over the internet, a Buffs postgame show. It is going to be jam-packed, so be sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and give this video a thumbs up.
And come to the bar.
And come to the bar. We are following all COVID-19 protocols, and last call has now been moved to
1 a.m.
1 a.m. So
Oh, no.
we'll have time for all of the games to be over and to have a
No.
few drinks.
How am I possibly going to stay sober enough for this midnight live show tomorrow?
I know this might be like a hot take, but I don't need last call like the 1 a.m. 2 a.m. thing. Like we could shut things down at 11:30.
No.
No,
Terrible take.
that's not true. It's having gone through this pandemic.
I've been to a few cities where last call is 4 a.m.
Yep, East Coast.
Exponentially better.
Most
How
of
was
them.
the next day though?
Well, it's
Well,
terrible.
you plan
Exactly.
for
I
it.
don't need that.
Okay.
I want this day to be good
You're
and
the
to
worst
end on time.
23-year-old I know.
Michael,
I'm
who
24
is
now.
in
I've grown up.
Michael, who is in Europe, says, "Jesus, lads, it's late."
Or it's early.
But for him, he's probably sitting there like
This is
going
what
through
they
his
do.
morning emails on a Friday, thinking like, "The hell is wrong with those Americans?"
But
Eating
this
a
is what
full
they
English
do over
breakfast.
there. Like it's every other night they're up like watching a
That's
Nuggets
true.
game at 3 a.m.
Yep, we're doing it to pay homage to you, Michael.
We are Michael.
Bean is asking Michael, I can't read at this point. McKinley Wright draft stock.
Up.
Do we have to do this every game?
Yes.
Still
I like
It's
it.
very
no higher than the 50th pick in the second round at best right now.
It's low. It's just
Get yourself to the Sweet 16.
yeah. I mean, it's not.
You
very
don't have to
high,
go in
but,
detail.
McKinley's great.
You
He's gonna have a
complain
great
about
profession-
having
This is
to
what I'm
talk
gonna-
about this
this
every
is gonna be my
time.
stock answer. McKinley's great. I love him. He's going to have a great professional basketball career somewhere.
If next time this
It does
comes
not
up,
matter
though,
if it's in the NBA or not.
feel free to just say like, "Hey Ben, give my statement for me."
Oh,
That's what we have him for.
McKinley Wright will have 2 NBA rings with by the close of this decade.
Can't trust him with anything.
can't trust him with anything.
Can't trust him
All
with
right.
anything.
Book it.
Nighthawk says, serious question, do the Buffs have a chance at this, and where is their ranking in the tourney?
What's
mean,
this?
So if this is the Pac-12 tournament, then absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they have as good
I
a chance
think
as anybody.
She means like the championship.
The thing about the NCAA tournament is that you just can't predict it. In terms of Colorado, if you were to set the line, you'd have to set the line at 1.5 games, right? Because
Actually,
if you're
yeah.
a 6 seed, you're favored in the first game. You're playing the 3 seed in the second game.
How do you guys know that stuff off the top of your head? I have
Because-
to be looking at the bracket to see that.
I've looked at a lot of brackets.
I know, so have I, but I just
Sounds like somebody is not prepared for the live Selection Sunday show.
I'm not. But once I have a bracket in front of me, I'll know everything.
Well, we'll bring some brackets. But yeah, I mean, once you do that, though, I mean, there's no reason that this team can't beat anybody in the country minus maybe 2 or 3 teams at the top. Whether they actually do beat those teams, if they get the opportunity to play them, that's what the game is about.
Quadrants are going to be big for, or not quadrants, I'm sorry, regions are going to be big for this. If you get in the region of Ohio State or Villanova, you love the matchup. Villanova, they need to go see a horse doctor right now.
Okay.
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 Because
I
they just
knew
shoot
that
them.
was gonna go somewhere. And we
Well,
just-
no, and then I was going to
'Cause
say
if you're-
Ohio State,
yeah.
you
No,
like
look
your
at
horse
Ryan.
breaks
Talking
leg.
about murder again.
We knew it. We knew it. Someday we're gonna get
Well,
a Ben
I'm
Palm of
allergic
his
to- I'm
murders.
allergic to
I knew
horses,
this
so-
would go
No,
that
wait.
way.
No, that's me.
it's
Two
the
people-
Spider-Man meme. I hope
Two people are allergic to horses.
someone
That can't
gets a
be.
screenshot of
I've
you and
never
I.
met another person who's
All right.
allergic to horses.
Okay.
Keep it rolling.
Sorry, this is big for me. Okay.
All right. Everyone in the comments says no blazer.
No blazer.
Funny, she said that as well.
What the hell are
Of
you
course.
taking to her frat house dinner? Weird. What fabric
Okay.
was the blazer?
Okay, great
Tweed.
question. It was tweed. It was a tweed blazer.
Are you
Who the hell asked if I was taking her to a frat party?
Andrew?
Andrew, what do I
Yes.
look like I have no
Move
class?
on.
Okay.
I'm wearing khakis and a hoodie right now. I'm above frat boy stuff.
Never.
That
they
is like
wear?
the
That is
That
the
is what they
definition
wear.
of a frat
the
outfit.
official
Okay.
They don't wear
uniform of
jeans.
fraternity.
Okay. Bean says never blazer on the first date. Strictly Hawaiian
Yes,
shirts.
great advice.
Oh, that is good to know.
24-hour
Hawaiian shirt.
football says, damn, how are y'all still up?
We don't know.
What else is there to do?
Then we've
idea.
got Zach saying, so here's what we've learned tonight. DNVR before dawn is
Very volatile.
Hey,
my
wait. Is
God.
that Zach Gottlieb?
Yes.
I've got a photographic memory, kind of. And Zach, I don't
is-
want to tease you too much.
Oh God! Don't
But,
say something stupid.
You might have a package coming your way in the mail tomorrow.
And it is
Oh.
not a
So stay
Manscaped
tuned.
pack.
No, it's not. And it's not my package.
Then just give your personal life.
Okay.
Boy. Sorry, Zach.
Daniel says, seriously, great show. He was the one who was upset about the phones. Seriously, great show. First time watching from Maryland. Fun stuff.
Just hits different from in Maryland.
In Maryland at 4 a.m.
Yep, we just have to wear them out and get
Respect.
them when they're tired.
Big respect to that. That's awesome.
Jess, to her earlier question, said yes, East Coast peeps. LOL, she was in Aurora.
The east coast of Denver is Aurora.
I've heard that.
Is that a different time zone?
And finally, Nighthawk said Hawaiian shirts are so good. So there you go.
There
Is
you
that
go.
really all of them?
There's one more.
I think it's 9 o'clock.
Are we
again.
not doing phrasing?
What is
No.
phrasing?
That
No,
was
no,
Ben
actually,
delivering a package
yeah.
to a friend.
I think
That sounds sexual.
Oh, we know.
that was the point.
That was the point.
All right, guys. Well, it's
That was the
almost
point.
2 a.m., so get your questions in for the 2 a.m. segment.
Hey, Allie, do you have any questions for us before we go?
This will be good.
My brain is literal.
There has to be something you're wondering.
Well,
Something that's been on your mind.
I'm gonna get with the graphics team and have them make a Ben Palm template for me to do my top dating spots, all that kind of fun stuff.
That
so
is-
next time we have a
the-
DNVR before dawn.
No, because we have a lot of March Madness graphics we are working on.
yeah.
Again, another plug
That
to go
could
watch
be
the show.
one of them.
That sounds March Madnessy.
Okay, I feel like if I texted Kale and I was like, "Hey, could you help me make a graphic of my top 10 rated dating spots?" I think I could get
You
him to
don't-
drop the
you
March
haven't-
Madness stuff.
You probably won't go on 10 dates in your life.
Let's-
Except, I should say with different people.
Also,
You're gonna get locked up soon. I can just feel
I'm
it.
trying to, man. There's
Yeah.
this woman.
No.
This woman.
No, I'm ready. My
I
mom.
love how the people that are listening to this, like, you keep calling her a woman. Like, I just know the people who are listening are like, wow, Ben's like dating a 37-year-old.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Claire Crawley.
From The
I
Bachelorette.
don't even
My
know.
mom,
Oh, yeah.
when my parents split, my mom lost her engagement
Okay.
ring. No,
Yeah,
this is funny though.
not
She blamed it. No. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me
Life
out.
story
Hear
time.
me out. No. Hear me out. She blamed it on me because she thought I gave it to a girl. I was in 3rd grade.
Nice.
I
Oh my
did.
God.
Oh my god.
Oh my
No.
goodness.
I was about to throw something
She
at
told
you.
me she liked Snoopy, so I gave her an engagement ring.
No, you didn't. Okay,
Also, wait,
Ben's like,
one more thing.
I had a tough childhood.
All right, I guess my main question for you guys is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling about the game against USC? Like, Buffs chances of winning.
11 is
Okay.
how I am feeling right now. I honestly, like, at this point, I understand they didn't look as good as they could
'Cause
have.
yeah, people
No one
are
does.
worried.
But, I mean, didn't we just watch USC almost lose tonight, too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, where's the outrage there?
Well,
like,
they're just other people that are outraged.
oh, yeah, that's right. We don't hear from them.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that part. But
No, but-
outside of Oregon, everybody played a competitive game
That's
today.
what I was
It's
trying to say.
March
is, like,
basketball.
You
Yep.
show up. First of all, you're playing in this cavernous arena that, like, most of these guys have never played in a place that big empty. You know, and it's just awkward. Except for even last year when they played, it wasn't empty. So that's weird. You're still getting used to it. Anyone's first game in a tournament setting is always just going to be a little sloppy. So you got through that. Now tomorrow you can go play free and play good basketball.
And even with that being said, they can lose that game tomorrow to USC. The sky is not falling.
I'm on a 7 to answer your
7?
question.
Okay.
I'm about an 8. USC they're still a very good basketball team. Evan Mobley is going to be a lottery pick. They've got their work cut out for them, but they have a recipe, a formula, if you will, to take down the Trojans. Hopefully, it comes together tomorrow night.
Let me just tell you this. If Tad Boyle beats Andy Enfield again, I'm going to be on one tomorrow night. So just buckle up.
I'm excited.
Nighthawk says, does Arizona dropping out change this?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, they're always pests in this tournament, and they're not here this time. It's great.
Yeah, but the reason I want to say no for this caveat is because they would have ended up as the 5 seed, so they would not have been on Colorado's side of the bracket. So either which way, Colorado would only have to face them arguably in the championship game. So the only reason I want to throw that out there is because I've seen other people say, well, this doesn't matter. I mean, you don't have to play Arizona in the tournament. The way this season shook out with no asterisks, you wouldn't have had to play them until the championship game anyway. So,
But the whole tournament is different without them. It doesn't
Yeah.
take anything away from the eventual champion because they weren't going to win it. It just, so if they were the 5, then Oregon State would have been the 6, and, it flips things around.
Plus, when Arizona's not there, you don't have to spend half the tournament talking about scandals. You can kind of just pretend that whole Arizona thing is not happening, and the Pac-12 tournament can be something totally
and
separate.
pure.
Yep, and that feels pretty good. Before we get out of here, I have been waiting to say this for a while, but before Ben did that last whole thing, he was flexing on his pole with Kale. and I don't want that to go unnoticed.
again.
You were saying
That sentence, though.
I did not
Yes.
phrase it that way.
no, but no, you were saying like I could get Kale to make me some graphics. Like Kale,
No,
would, if I reached out to Kale,
what I
just-
meant is I think Kale would also find it funny.
Yeah.
So if I messaged Kale, I wasn't flexing on my poll. Trust
just
me.
saying,
Stop
like-
saying flexing on my poll.
Trust me. I am an undersell type of guy. I would never flex on my poll.
That's gonna do it for tonight. We're gonna be back tomorrow after the Buffs play. It's gonna be a late game again. Hopefully not this late, and hopefully you guys will tune in. Even though this was a weird show, tomorrow, who knows, could be just as weirder.
Weirder.
Let's get real weird.
God.
Hopefully things go well, and we'll see you guys then.